Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Dream Big Today. This is our noon nuggets, and I'm so glad that you are joining me today. It's just a little snippet in the middle of the day, just in case if you need a boost to get you through the rest of the day. And so I want to focus on our Psalms today, Psalm 78, starting with verse 32 through 55. And if we get a chance, we'll look at Proverbs also. But this will be a quick one. And so as we start out with the Psalms, it's it's talking now. Let's back up. Let's back up because in the event that you didn't read yesterday, this is about telling the coming generations of everything that God has done. And this is like an historical Psalms. Let's see, I think probably Lori touched on it yesterday, but we just know that we need to recount the past. We need to know what God's done in the past so we can move forward in the future and not to forget how good He was, and not to repeat our past mistakes. Now, in this portion of it, now, I wanted to read it to you out of the Message because this starts out great. Out of the Message, it says, "And can you believe it? They kept right on sinning." Now, after this, or before this, uh, it talked about the writer spoke of. Let me go back to the beginning. Listen, dear friends, to God's truth. Bend your ears to what I tell you. I'm chewing on a morsel of a proverb. I'll let you know, I will let you in on the sweet old truths, stories we've heard from our fathers, counsel we've learned at our mother's knee. We're not keeping this to ourselves. We're passing it along from one generation to the next. God's fame and fortune, the marvelous things He has done. So they are passing on everything that has taken place, and for them to know how gracious and good God is. Yet, Yet the people would disobey, they would grumble, they would complain, and they just didn't pay attention. How many times do you have to tell your kids, pay attention to me so you can learn how to do something. You can become wiser. I can show you, I can teach you. Well, God is doing this with us all the time. So in the Message, it says, "And can you believe this? They kept right on sinning, all those wonders, and they still wouldn't believe." Now, isn't that something to think about? What had they seen? As we continue on in this, that was the generation that had gone through uh, the plagues, uh, and the judgments. God had turned the rivers into blood, leaving them thirsty. He sent the vast swarms of flies. He sent hordes of frogs. Grasshoppers consumed the crops. Every garden was flattened with hailstones. The fruit trees were ruined by killing frost. You know how devastating it is for us if well, and not me specifically, because I don't think my little patch of asparagus counts as a garden, but I'm going to call it a big garden. But if whenever it's time for that freeze and we don't cover our plants, then we're devastated if we lose it. Well, what if this is the only way you got food and all of it was destroyed? It would be definitely be devastating. Um, Now I'm bouncing into another translation. Even their cattle fell prey. Everything was uh, destroyed, and all because they didn't listen. And this is like I said in the beginning, a historical text of everything that they had gone through. Surely to goodness, if you would remember all of these things, that you would say, "Hey, family, let's get this together now. We can't keep doing what we've been doing because we know that doesn't get us anywhere. We've got to start following God." Verse 52 says, Then, like a shepherd leading his sheep, God led his people out of tyranny, guiding them through the wilderness like a flock. Safely and carefully, God led them out, nothing to fear. But their enemies, he led them into the sea. He took care of them there once and for all. Eventually, God brought his people to the Holy Land. And this is this talking about the Egyptians, is what Eileen says. This is talking about what he did, and the Egyptians, yes, was part of that. So he drove out and scattered all the people occupying the land, staking an inheritance, a portion for each of Israel's tribes. So the historical part of this lesson from history, Asaph wrote it, is for God's ways, the things that's happened, to be passed from generation to generation. Everyone has to know what a just God he is, how faithful he is, how much he loves them, and that they will set their hope in God. That is what we strive for, is to share God's word, and that all that who hear will set their hope in God, believe, and share in the joy of serving the one and only God who loves you dearly and is absolutely for you. It's always, to me, it's always fun to read these kind of psalms, and whenever we do, we think, oh man, look what they went through. We've gone through some stuff, and you know what, he's got us through this. So let's stay focused in the word and know what he means for us to obey. Quickly, Proverbs 12:21 through 23 says, No harm comes to the godly, but the wicked have their fill of trouble. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in those who tell the truth. The wise don't make a show of their knowledge, but fools broadcast their foolishness. Be a person of few words. If somebody wants to know something that you can enlighten them on, that's awesome. But you know what? We don't always have to be always the one to share what we know, because somebody always knows a little bit more than you. So thank you so much for joining us today, and come back in the morning. Elizabeth will be here to present the word in the morning. I love y'all. Bye-bye.